I had one of those career-changing moments, you know, on the road that was presented to me I took. And basically I had made it through undergraduate at Santa Barbara. I grew up at the beach in San Diego and Los Angeles. I was always around the ocean and cared about ocean things. So I was studying ichthyology. And I was working on a master's at the University of the Pacific at the time and living up in Marin County at a place called Tomales Bay. It's a beautiful location, still is to this day. Studying surf perch, which are live birthing, you know, fish as opposed to laying eggs. And long story short, this is back in the mid-60s, and I ran out of money. So I needed to take a job, and I basically abandoned the master's thesis and took a job at SeaWorld in San Diego. They had at the time an education department. As part of their contract with the city of San Diego on the land that they occupied, they had to give back to the community. One of the things they did was to open the park to school groups of all ages, and so they had a staff, a small staff. This job was to take the school groups around and talk to them about the marine life that they had at the park. Now they had fish, they had birds, they had plants, exotic plants, and of course the marine mammals, the dolphins and the sea lions and the killer whales and the like. And so I interviewed for the job. It was great. At the time I had hair down to my shoulders, and SeaWorld was and still is a very clean-cut organization. And when I looked around, I went, well, at least I got to visit the place, you know. Packed my bags and left town. And a week later, they actually called me and offered me the position. So I was thrilled. So got a haircut and went to San Diego and started working there with all the various curators of the mammals and the birds and the fish and everything to get up to speed on what the park had in the way of resources. And basically, that's where I first got exposed to kind of the husbandry and the care and feeding and natural history of all the marine mammals that they had in the park, as well as everything else. The place is a virtual gold mine, zoologically, and all the experts were right there to learn from. So I was just like a dry sponge in a downpour. I was just soaking in everything. At the time, I met a whale trainer, a young woman by the name of Mary Lou Jones, and she and I hit it off and became good friends. And long story short, jumping ahead, we ended up getting married years later. But we started going on camping trips down to Mexico because Baja California was right in our back door, our backyard, and weekend trips to camp out on the beach. And so we'd see dolphins and we'd see gray whales. And so that was more or less where the tide turned. I kind of abandoned fish. I still like them a lot. But that got us started on the whale track. And both of us joined the American Cetacean Society and became affiliated with the Natural History Museum and continued to work at SeaWorld while we were not in Baja looking at marine mammals.